Redirect your mind to the open lane. Regroup your thoughts, let go of the strain. Refocus the vision, it's all in your name. Jeff got the mic sparking up the flame. Redirect, regroup, refocus, we thrive. God in your spirit, keeping dreams alive. The vibe is deep, the truth's in the lines. It's your time, now don't let it pass by. Struggles in the rear view, we moving ahead. Wisdom and hustle ingrained in what's said. Jeff bringing light to the stories unsaid. Keep the focus straight, don't just lay in your bed. Switching the gears, shifting the tone. This ain't a journey you walk alone.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Life Coach Jeff, coming to you live on the Redirect, Regroup, Refocus podcast. Today is going to be one of those days, y'all, because I've got something to talk about, and I know we all got something to talk about. Yeah, this is gonna be one of them days, y'all. So y'all know how we do when we first get on, okay? When we first get on, I gotta make the announcements. I gotta remind y'all where we at, what's going on, the whole nine. So just, oh my man, okay. So listen, baby, I gotta let y'all know we are here at the Vibe Studios here at 2075 Rush Place. It consists of Ryan Reed of the VNO, what you know, myself, Life Coach Jeff of Redirect, Regroup, Refocus. We also have a second location on 61st and Broadway at Healthy in Space. Shout out to them over there. Smooch Wallace, who is Smooch Wallace, baby? If you don't know who Smooch Wallace is, please get to know him. And also Mary Selena K of Rock Truth Radio. We make up the Vibe Studios, y'all. We're doing documentaries. We're doing a lot of stuff. We got a partnership going on with Fred Hampton Jr., shout out to the big homie Fred Hampton Jr., man. My cousin Ryan, VNO, he was out there and went to a concert. He saw Scarface and he saw Too Short. You know, he put the videos on his page. Y'all holler at the man. But I know we making big moves. Smooch is around here hosting, doing his comedy, singing. You know, we making good moves. Mary continues to do her show and is doing great things with interviews and people. The whole nine, yo. We out here moving. So, yeah, y'all tap into the Vibe Studios, man. If you got podcasting needs, anything equivalent with radio, we can help you. Yeah, man. Okay. I know that didn't come out like it should have, but we got to talk today because I know y'all saw the headlines. I know y'all saw what the breaking news was. I have comments to say about the diddler. Diddy. P. Diddy. The D, the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the D. Diddy did, baby. Diddy did. But now, with everything that's coming out, and apparently he didn't. I'm just saying. I believe Diddy did, but maybe he didn't. So we just gonna dive right into this, y'all. I don't have a lot to say. I'm gonna shout out a couple more people as the show goes on. Maybe we'll take some quick breaks as we go into this. And Al, I see you tapping in, big dog. Al, we need to talk about this on Friday on Spotlight Radio. I think we should. I believe this is going to be a topic that's going to shake some stuff up. Yeah. But I'm going to talk about some stuff. So first of all, people, if we're going to talk about Diddy, we need to talk about what he was actually on trial for. So, okay, it was for racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. 2 counts of that. And also, hold on, the other part of that, hold on. Jesus, man, I had it pulled up. The other part of that was, I believe it was prostitution, transportation to prostitution, something like that. He got the 2 counts of the prostitution charges, okay? He got hit with those. That's what he got hit with. He got hit with those. But he did not get hit with the conspiracy, okay? The racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura. Y'all know who Cassie is. That did not stick. But what stuck, okay? What stuck was the 2 counts of transportation of engaging in prostitution. To engage in prostitution. So I'm going to say this. You know, as a celebrity, you know, there are instances and times when you know, you got money, man. We also gonna touch on Hugh Hefner too, because Hugh Hefner, if y'all saw that documentary that was on A&E about the Playboy Mansion and the bunnies, that was heavy. That was heavy. Sometimes you cannot be touched because of the type of person that you are and the type of things that you get on other people. And I'm going to be very honest when I say this. We have seen clips, we have seen stilled images of celebrities who were at these parties. And I truly believe if Diddy was to go down, and I'm talking about going down, people. I'm talking about down. If Diddy was to go down, he was going to be taking a lot of other people with him. I strongly believe that. People was out here leaving the country, okay, because of the diddler. And they didn't want their names out at these parties, right? And then we've also heard some things come out about other people, right? We've heard things come out about other people, which is just very interesting. Very interesting. So let's talk about this real quick. When we look up the word racketeering, okay, racketeering is a type of organized crime in which the perpetrators set up or a coercive, fraudulent, or extraordinary or otherwise illegal coordinated scheme or operation to repeatedly or consistently collect profit. The term racketeering was coined by Employers Association of Chicago in June 1927, a statement about influence and organized crime in the Teamsters Union. Okay, so that is what racketeering means. It's an organized crime in which the perpetrators set up some type of coercive or fraudulent or extraordinary or otherwise illegal coordinated scheme or operation repeatedly or consistently to get some profit from. So that's what racketeering is, okay? Now, when we look at the sex trafficking, y'all know what sex trafficking is, but we're going to define it just for the you know, the highlight of the show here. Sex trafficking is human trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation. Perpetrators of the crime are called sex traffickers or pimps, okay? People who manipulate victims to engage in various forms of commercial sex with paying customers. Sex traffickers use force, fraud, and coercion as they recruit, transport, and provide their victims as prostitutes. Okay? Now, this is what it's defined as, okay? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just defining what it is. Now, again, the 2 counts of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, he did not get charged with. But he did get charged with, okay? He did get charged with the transportation for prostitution, okay? Transportation, 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, I'm going to say this too. With the 2 counts to engage in prostitution that Diddy was found guilty of, I'm going to tell y'all something. If you show me a rich person who has a lot of influence that is in entertainment, that has not paid for sex, who isn't of high influence, I would like to see it. I just strongly believe it's too good to be true when you have people who are up there in these realms. Now, you got some strong people out here in this world. Listen. You got some strong people out here in this world. But you have to understand, in our culture, in what we do, you know, if somebody's twerking, if somebody bending it over, and I just have to put it this way because this is how we talk to each other, right? This is our culture. This is what we do, right? If somebody out there getting it, twerking, doing whatever, a lot of times, and I have to say this about men look at that as an invite, an invitation that something could happen. When things are suggestively put in front of people in these situations, you know, You cannot sit up here and tell me that somebody don't have sex on the brain. I'm just saying. And when we start really tapping in and looking into the parties, okay, I'm gonna be. I sat down at work. I was talking to some people. Like I told you, I'm an electrician by trade, y'all. Y'all know how I go. I sat down and we actually happened to be talking about this. And I said, you know what? When we start looking at these parties, you know, if you knew what happened at a Diddy party, you went and you still knew what was going on. I don't care if you happen to end up being just a person out on the street. What's going on, Charles, brother? How you doing, brother? Man, tap in about this Diddy stuff, man. I'm looking for it. I know y'all listening, but I need y'all to tap in because this stuff with the diddler is wild. I have my own personal opinion about how I feel about when people are throwing parties and everything like that, pertaining to these situations. Sex and drugs is gonna be out there, people. If you go out to a party, what's up, BB? How you doing, girl? What's going on? Yeah, we talking about the diddler, girl. We hitting it today. I feel that when parties and stuff like that is going on, depending on who you with and how it goes with high profile people, sex and drugs is going to be in the building. It's going to be in the building. I've always felt it is up to a person to not put themselves out there as such. Now, y'all know the culture. Y'all know how it is. We see it all the time. We see it in our rap videos. We see it in things that we advertise. Sex sells majority of the time. Okay? Sex sells. We see it with Glorilla. We see it with Sexy Red. We see it with oh my gosh, what's her name? We see it with Nicki Minaj. We see it with Cardi B. We see this stuff, you know? But somewhere down the line, this stuff got to trickle down, yo. So I really do believe that the man was paying for prostitutes. I really do believe that the man was bringing them in and all that other stuff like that. I can believe that. And then even when we start talking about more high profile people, rest in peace, who ended up passing away, Hugh Hefner. If y'all have not seen the Hugh Hefner documentary that aired on A&E, and I believe it was on A&E and Lifetime, please check that out. Because when you hear about what some of these people do behind closed doors, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at any of it. They said it got so deep with Hugh Hefner to the fact that they started experimenting with animals. And these women were doing stuff with the animals. Like, yo, this stuff is wild out here. This stuff is real. And I often ask myself, men and women, when are we going to stop like inserting ourselves in these things? You know, they say when you know better, you do better. I get it. Everybody's looking for an opportunity. I get it. We all looking to make it. We all looking to be successful. And I'm saying this on being on this level of we're all rising up, trying to put the grind in so we can get noticed and do stuff. But is it really worth going down this path? Is it really worth if you see something shiny? Let me see. Okay, let me see. Okay, BB, you tapping in. Thank you, girl. I appreciate this comment. So this is interesting to me. Men tend to be more persuasive, not taking responsibility away from the victims involved. Okay, I feel you on that. It's just different when you pray and not the hunter. And I agree with that, BB. And I agree. And you know, with him doing stuff like that, because we even gonna talk about Cassie real quick, because you know, even when we look at Cassie and her situation, you know, something can easily turn into something, like you said, men can be persuasive. So it can be hey, I can help you with this. Hey, I can help you with that. You know, it can turn into that. But then it sounds good, but then it can flip into some craziness just like that. You know, I actually do want to talk about that. We will talk about that. It's going to be a while from now, but we are going to talk about that. I'm not trying to reveal too much about a show that we got coming up, but we are going to talk about the dark side of the industry. And I am going to tap into that because we deal with a lot of people. And sometimes we need to know that all this stuff is out here for real. I'm talking about for real. The stuff that you hear about, the stuff that you look into, it's out here. People just not out here saying this stuff just to say it. You know, we got to realize that. And I just really do feel. Hold on, what did BB say? Let's not talk about Cassie. She has her own faults, but I don't expect a young woman making a complete adult decision. But that's true too. And I get it. But I wanted to talk about Cassie in a way to where, see, and plus too, y'all got to understand, I'm not the type to go ahead and hit an angle all crazy out here. Y'all know who our life coach Jeff Rowe, man. We don't like to play the blame game or nothing. We just put a little bit of accountability and make you think about some stuff. You feel me? I'm not putting any blame game on Cassidy. I'm not going to say that she should have done this, she should have done that. But at the end of the day, you have to remember, we are all adults and we all make our own decisions. Even though she was younger at the time, you know, there are things that just happen. And I feel that if there are people around you and they see something going on, you know, I get it. Power and influence is something, but maybe I'm saying this because I haven't really experienced that, but I kind of feel that I will be the one to try to break out of something and try to find something, right? Try to find something so that we could get out of it. Or I just wouldn't put myself in that situation. Because I'm going to be real with y'all. We tend to hear a lot about these stories. You know, we tend to hear a lot about these stories. So I've made a conscious decision just not to put myself in this particular situation. Yes, it might sound good. Yeah, somebody can promise you something. But you know what? Let's just keep working. Let's just keep grinding. Let's just keep supporting. Something is going to break. Something is going to shake. But it's not worth Jeff Relaford signing on the dotted line for. Selling your soul. You know? Because let's be real. Yeah, let's talk about that. But because it's not worth it. You know, at the end of the day, it's not worth it. And when you start looking at Diddy and you look at the position that he was in, I strongly believe he was in a position where people were ready to go ahead and say, look here, we could do something for you, but you got to sell your soul. I own you. And that's another part of the dark side of the industry. Like, it's a couple parts of this that's going to run over into the show that I want to do that actually is in alignment with what's going to come up a little later on. But with that, I think y'all really going to like that episode for real. It's kind of crazy how all this is coming up now and how I just had this meeting and everything. It is wild, yo. So this is definitely a topic that needs to be talked about. What did BB say? She said, yes, many people do exchange certain things. And yes, people do exchange certain things. So I kind of feel that when we start moving up higher into this entertainment realm, what needs to happen is we got to just make some more better and wise conscious decisions. Just because somebody is ahead of you and they look a certain way and they can promise you something, it is okay to say no. It is okay to say no. I've had people come to me with opportunities for certain things, and I had to turn it down. You know that feeling that you get when it just don't feel right? That feeling that you get that's inside, your gut feeling, that internal, something shaking up your spirit a little bit. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. Maybe what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to flip your stuff around and maybe do something different with it. Because we all know what's good looking in the industry. Male and female. Because it's two sides to it. You know, that's the case with it. We all know what looks good, male and female. We even start looking at what was that guy's name who did Old Town Road? We look at him, how he started with a wholesome song and now transformed into a completely different person. Because a lot of that is in your contracts as well, people. Yeah, it's okay to pass up some ish every now and then. You have to do that because you have to ask yourself the question, do I want to operate? Do I want this fast life? Or do I want to operate in integrity? Is that what you want to do? You got to ask yourself that question out here, man, because it gets real. Because high profile and influence is very much so real. And I really hope with all of this going on that people now are going to, yes, it is called discernment. Yeah, that's a spiritual word, my sister. I'm with you on that. It is called discernment. I just really hope that people start to actually wake up and to say, you know what? There's more strength in numbers. And real quick, while we talk about strength in numbers, let's talk about the city of Chicago one good. Well, let's talk about, because I'm on the outside looking in, but I'm in. You know, I'm on the outside looking in, but I'm in. I feel that Chicago could rise up and we could push behind anybody and stand behind anybody if we wanted to. We could get people exposure. We could get people out there. But there has to be a level of support that's going to come with it. See, what we don't understand is people, we waiting on somebody to give us that big break because we feel as if we don't have enough people supporting us. So if we don't feel like we get support in the city, we got to go other places. It ain't nothing wrong with going other places because other cities will show you love too. Go to other cities. That ain't what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about the people. I'm actually talking about you're looking for an entity to help you out so you can sign on the dotted line and you could get you some so-called money. Because real talk, we all want to be paid for our efforts. I had met a radio personality that didn't want to be paid for their efforts. I had met a singer that didn't want to be paid for their efforts. I had met a comedian that didn't want to be paid for their efforts. I had met anybody who was out there grinding who did not want to be paid for their efforts. You know? What you say, BB? She said, we got to do and be what we want to see in the world. And that's it, girl. If you want positivity to spread throughout this bad boy, if you want goodness to be, go ahead and bring that to the table. Let me tell y'all something. I knew with what I wanted to bring to the table and with what I wanted to do, I know it's going to be different. And I also know there are a lot of people still doing it, you know, but I have to do something that's going to set myself apart from everybody. So what did I do? I created a platform where I could go ahead to where y'all can still see the same people, but we could give them different types of interviews. Because let's be real. It's a lot of stuff that's the same stuff out here. And this don't have to be done on such a big scale. We could go ahead. We could start on this level, working with the people that we got and keep moving up because it's people watching. It's people watching. And I know it's people watching. It's wild out here. It's wild. So it's people watching. But you got to keep going and you got to keep moving. If you know that you have a specific goal in mind and where you're trying to go and how you're trying to do it, listen, it's possible. But you have to stay on that course. Don't veer off just because something is nice and shiny to you and it looks good. You know, you got to stay on that course. You have to understand why you started something, why you had this particular vision to do what it is that you wanted to do. So when we start talking about people like Diddy, who he is, his position, what he has, and especially the parties. Okay. Now to the celebrity people out there who went. You went knowing what went on at these parties. You went knowing what went on at these parties. And some of these people went at will. At will. Let's be real when we talk about it. Because, you know, it's at will. That at will means you got a choice. You could choose when you walk through them doors and you could choose when you're going to leave. Okay? That's what that means. And there were some people who were ready to hide their whole face because they didn't want to be associated with it. Well, you should have thought about that when you walked in the doors and you knew what was going on. You should have thought about it then and exited stage left. But you chose not to because you were mingling with the people who were in there, who were also on the same status as you. Listen, if that junk don't mean you no good, get out. Okay? Yeah, I believe it too, BB. I believe to some extent we all knew that Diddy was going to get off. You know. What did BB say? She said, from the beginning, I don't know, but I kind of wanted to go. And you know what, BB? I'm going to be real with you. Everybody wanted to go. I believe everybody at one point in time wanted to experience the Diddy party. I ain't going to hold you. I was watching Entertainment Tonight when I was a young guy, and I saw Diddy putting on the party. I was like, damn, that must be dope. You know what I mean? It must be dope. But all we see is the glamour with it. We don't know what's behind door number 1, 2, and 3. And if you're lucky, you might get door number 4 added in there too. And it might be something strange going on for just a little piece of change in that door. I'm telling you, I heard a story from my cousin. And when I heard this story, I believe the story. I'm not going to repeat it because I ain't going to put out nobody's stuff out here. But it is a story that is very lined up with everything that we have heard about Diddy. And to put it in context for you, and when the time frame was, this goes all the way back to like 03, 04. So 03, 04 to 25. The man been in the game doing all this for 20 years, yo. I'm just saying, whenever you walk into a party and you see a man sitting right there and you got one on the left and one on the right and you don't know if it's, but I said too much. Sometimes you just got to believe what's out there sometimes. Everybody who out here barking ain't lying. Everybody who barking sometimes, it's not always what we call a conspiracy. Conspiracy is what they want us to think. That's what they want us to call it. So that way, that small shred of the truth, it can be looked at as it's a maybe. It's not that it's out there. It can be used as a maybe. You know? Yeah. Telling y'all, man, this stuff is real. And I want to say this too. I believe that I went on, and BB, I got to talk about the trial a little bit. I got to. I'm going to just harp on it a little bit here. Because when you look at who testified, the list of people who actually testified, the witnesses. Now, Diddy did not try. He did not testify at all at his trial. He did not testify at all. I believe that was planned as well. Because, you know, the less you say, it can't count against you. We all know this. You know, we look at people like Epstein. We look at people like Hugh Hefner. We look at people like Harvey Weinstein. All these people. And there's more people who are out there doing these things. We just don't know it. And the thing is that they're just not as prevalent as those who were either doing it before them or still doing it now. It's stuff that go on right now, yo. One day I'm gonna have to do another show about that one. Because then when we start bringing it down to our level, the regular people level, these sex parties and stuff go on with that too. The only difference is that everybody is there consenting adults. And the thing is, with you being a consenting adult, things are allowable. Now, the drugs and stuff is still there. It's still going to be there. Because I'm going to tell you something. People find a way to sneak in whatever they want to sneak in. It's just less of that influence and power that's in the way. If you see it on a minuscule scale, people, if you see it on the small scale, on the micro scale, it's out there on the macro. I'm letting y'all know. It's out there big. But when I look at people who testified, and I look at some of these names, and I look at what they were talking about, sometimes, okay, I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes, you know, things are said and things are put out there to everything. Some things can be a distraction, okay? Sometimes it's really out there. And when these things happen for real, it's out there. But some things I use as distractions. K Cash, what's up, good? What's good with you, girl? How you feeling? You know, she out here today. I saw that picture of you, my friend. I see you out here posing for the camera. You doing it. You do your thing, my sister. Do your thing out here. Yeah, I'm trying to drop a few gems out here. I'm trying to, but it's, you know, it's mixed emotions when it comes to this Diddy stuff. It's mixed emotions when it comes to this, how everybody feels about it. Because, you know, I feel that when you look at the case and when you look at certain things that were being said, yes, was the truth said? I believe that none of these people was up there lying. I believe none of them people who was out there talking about what they witnessed, what they saw from Diddy or Cassie, I don't believe none of them people was lying. But what I do believe was it's one of those things where if something is fixed and you're going to put up some charges that can really mess up somebody's character, okay? You're going to put something out there that can really mess up somebody's character. That's what I feel those two charges were. Let's be real. Let's look at it real quick. That's what I believe the two counts were that he did not get charged for, okay? I strongly believe when we start looking at the not guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking, that was the meat right there. That was the bread and butter. Because that also pertained to Cassie as well. When I read some of this stuff and I hear people talking about what was actually said, a lot of that was the experience, a lot of that was the abuse, a lot of that was the trauma that came along with it. You know, you have to ask yourself, does that fall under what he was actually being tried for? And that there is a legit question, people. Listen, my wife sat up here, did the law school thing. So it's some things that we talk about. So that's why I say that type of stuff. It's some things that we talk about and we have discussed. So when we start talking about these things really do happen. And if it was enough to go ahead and really work out, how come it didn't stick? Because some people would say maybe one person isn't enough. You need more testimony of maybe about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. I believe if he would have had that, boom, you would have been able to hook the brother and sink him very quickly. Hook the brother and sink him. You know? But I kind of feel that's just how our court system is, you know? How our court system is, how it all works and how it all gets leveled out is they're looking for more than just one. Unless you kill somebody, murder somebody, you know, cause bodily harm to somebody in a way where they in a hospital bed or something like that, or something lower on the civil end, you know, that can be resolved between two people, and you might be paying for some hospital damages. $100,000 is a lot to some people, but somebody like Diddy is nothing. So that's something that can get paid, and you'll never hear nothing about that ever again. Real talk. You know, real talk. So I'm just letting y'all know, man, there's some stuff out here. I just feel that some of that was a part of the plight to get us to look into some other stuff. And let's just be real, y'all. I do kind of feel that after this, I hope and pray that people think twice about the situations that they get themselves in and the people they hang around. That's what I hope out of this. I hope that maybe the culture can change. You know, I start to understand why we do have people talking about different things, how we need to reshape some things, because it's sad, you know. Our culture shouldn't be the main culture that is shaped on sex. When we start talking about rap, hip hop, and other things of that nature, it should not be heavily shaped on that just because of how our women look. Just because our women are a bit more robust. Their butts do stick out a little bit more. They are thick in all the right places. I do believe that our women should not be exploited because of that. Now, if you go out there and you put it on display, that's your choice. Okay? That's your choice. I'm all for do whatever you want to do. I'm not sitting up here trying to tell you not to do whatever, but I'm going to give you a perspective and let you know what that looks like to a man. Now, that I can do. I can definitely give you that perspective and let you know how it looks to a man. So now, if you have to go out there and you have to constantly defend how you look and what it's for, that's just what's going to come along with the territory. If you come out looking a certain way, you're going to attract a certain type of man. That's just how the world is. When a man comes out looking a certain way, he attracts a certain type of woman. It works the same way. It works the same way. The only reason why it's more so talked about women because y'all have things like makeup. Y'all have things that can alter your appearance. We don't have a lot of stuff like that. How Jeff Rutherford come at the house right now, how all this look, ain't nothing beautified. Ain't nothing covered up. My brother got a pimple on his nose right here. I can't put nothing to cover that up. It's on there. It's out there. You see it. But when we have to get to a point to where we live in a land where we could be more authentic. We do. I just heard a guy say today that the woman he was with, was more so into the whole Instagram thing. She believed because she looking at celebrities do all this, that they need this and they need that, and she need this, she need that. Like we have to go ahead and we have to match that, you know? Women have to look at what celebrities got and they feel that that's what they need too. What up, D Smith? The homie D Smith in the building. Man, my man, we talking about all this stuff today. And yeah, it's a lot of different topics that just stem off the diddler thing. I really hope that just with this coming out, big dog, that we're able to change our culture, because something has to change. You know, our people don't have to be exploited, always affiliated with gangs, drugs, sex, twerking, big booty shaking, the whole nine. You know, I feel that with all this going down, we got to strive for something better. Because you sit up here and you look how this is going. If a man is going to throw parties and have all the stuff that's there, you know, get people to do things, people drinking the Kool-Aid, the whole nine, people getting knocked out, they falling asleep because of the baby oil, they realize something is bust wide open, these men too. Something got to change. I don't know, yo. I don't know. But who am I? I'm just little old life coach Jeff. You know, I'm just LCJ giving out his opinion about something, because honestly, I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it, yo. I feel like that there's many ways this could have gone, but it went the way it went, and it's done. It's done. So whatever opinion anybody has about it, you know, that's what it is. What did my man say? He said, they associate us with the worst behaviors. And exactly, sir, associated with the worst behaviors. So to me, it makes sense in my eyes that we have a black man who is on trial for throwing these sex parties. So then to bring all of that to the light, you got to stick something on it. So let's talk about the abuse. Let's talk about the relationship. Saying there that you were using people to have her pay for sex. You know? Had him pay for sex, because that's, by definition, that's what the charge is for. Like, he was using Cassie in that way. And if the evidence did not show or prove that she was being used in that way, and all it was an abusive relationship, that's what it was. Let's be real. That's what it was. You know? So we have to call it out for what it is. So he has gone through the court system. He has done his thing. And like I told y'all, with me sitting up here talking to Megan about all this stuff in law school and all the other things of that nature, you know, law is something where it's very direct. And a lot of times sentences are carried out based off previous court cases. See, we don't know that. Previous court cases for that specific area, okay, for that specific area associated with the crime or the charge. So see, when you have information, we know better and we start to learn these things. Everybody want to be woke, talk about the straw man, talk about all this other stuff, but we got to really know how this system is structured and why these decisions are made sometimes. What did my man say? D. Smith says this whole Diddy trial is just a distraction from the other men in power. Oh yeah, Abercrombie and Fitch, who are also on trial for the same stuff. See, and there it is, people. You got to remember, as long as we go, and they didn't publicize that. There it is. And see that, and I agree with you, D. Smith. I agree with you, Dennis. See, my man out here talking that word for real, because it's a lot of stuff going on that we don't want to recognize. Sometimes, y'all, we can't give people ammunition to do what they want with us. I'm gonna leave that right. And I'm gonna say it one more time. Sometimes we can't give people the ammunition to do what they want to do with us. I understand you like the culture. I understand everybody want to turn up and do all this, but the Bible says not to have your good be spoken evil of. Don't allow your good to be spoken evil of. So just so y'all can understand what it means. Yes, it looks like a good time over here on this side, and it very much so can be a good turn up time. But just know that somebody gonna have something to say about it. Somebody gonna have something to say if you just sitting in a chair and you got a drink in your hand. But you know what? I'd rather have somebody talk about me for me having a drink in my hand rather than me going all in and walling all out. I'm just saying, y'all. When are we as a culture going to start making better decisions for ourselves? That's what I took out of this. That's what I really got out of all of this. At some point in time, there has to be a level in which we want to reach as a people. And we can say, you know what? We don't have to do what everybody else does. We don't have to go ahead and follow this whole way of doing things like they do it. We keep saying how different, how great we are as a people. Why don't we act that way? My manager tells me not to do that on camera, but I did it anyway. The thing is, why can't we just act that way? I'm just saying. You know, everybody got their thing. It's not really my thing. You know, it's not really my thing. And I don't disrespect nobody whose thing that it is. But at some point in time, what we have to do is we have to look at what it harbors, what it brings, the type of influence that might or influence and or consequences that can come after that. Just saying. I'm all for women doing whatever they want to do. Now, this is outside of Cassie. Like I said, I'm all for women doing whatever they want to do. But sometimes, like when people say they want a certain type of man, if that's what you want, you got to be a certain type of woman. And for men, if you want a certain type of woman, you got to be a certain type of man. Just saying. If you don't want craziness, stop putting the craziness out there. If you don't want ratchetness, stop putting the ratchetness out there. If that's who you are, that's who you are. If it's a persona, let people see the real you. And then when you get out there, let them see the persona. You have to put yourself in situations to where you're able to separate the two. The game can be played out here. You just have to know how to play it. You just have to know how to spit it. You just have to know how you can go ahead and make something happen in that way for yourself. And the media is dangerous as F. Yes, sir, it is. The media is a very dangerous game. It really is. To the point to where you have to do a lot to protect yourself out here from it, you know? There it is. There was a ton of acceptance in choosing a lifestyle, especially certain ones. And that's the thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, chasing a lifestyle. And that's the thing, yo. And I'm glad that you said that, Dennis, because the thing is, a lot of times the representation of these lifestyles that we put out there for our people in our communities, this is what people want. This is what we want. We want the glitz. We want the glamour. We want all the wildness. We want everything attached to it because we're living a free life. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself the question, when you make it to that high level, that high status, is it really so free? You think about all the great people out here that we look up to that have had things come out about them. Is it really so free? Because at the end of the day, you're going to be subjected to everything that you are normally subjected to when it comes down to people. Famous or not famous. Money or no money. The cycle continues, people. You just have to ask yourself the question, what end of the spectrum do I want to be on? How do I want to represent myself when I'm out for me, my family, the whole nine? I'm trying to talk to him, man. I'm trying to talk to him because the older I get, the more I'm starting to see, and it's starting to make sense, and I'm really starting to understand it now. They want us to thrive in this one lane. They want us to thrive in this lane of ratchetness. They want us to thrive in this lane of ass shaking. They want us to thrive in this lane that makes us appear as if we know nothing and that we are the lesser. As I get older, I see this. And we have to ask the question, when are we going to stop? Who cares if we sit up and I watched a reel the other day where this black chick was twerking all over this white man, and this white man looked very uncomfortable. Everybody ain't about that. There is something called being civilized. If things are going to be out here brought to the light, let us continue to be civilized out here. Again, I'm all for people having a good time, baby. I'm all for people to have a good time. If you want to have a good time, you do what you do. But we also have to be reminiscent of the fact of how things are going to look towards us as well. I'm just saying. So y'all like how that went, man? See, what we did was we started off talking about something, but see, there's a deeper underlying message behind all of this. There's a deeper underlying message behind all of this that's being said. There comes a time, people, when we start looking at the diddler, we start looking at everything. There's people who do wrong all over. And again, they didn't talk about Hugh Hefner deep until he died. So just know, it just ain't us doing this. It ain't just black people doing this. It's out there. It's white people doing this too. It's people of all races doing this. Hefner gone. Epstein is gone. Those are two big players. So then when you start looking at what's going on and who hot and who got the most influence and who trying to actually make moves and can still make moves and do something, who we looking at now? Diddy. And if the man was to go down that hard, I'm going to tell you, all it was going to do, that racketeering and sex trafficking, all that was going to do was bring out everybody else who he was connected to. Why do you think they just had to put it all on? They had to make it and put it all on one person. Now, that's what I read. That all of that racketeering and sex trafficking, that was harbored on Cassie. That like he was doing that to Cassie. That's what that was. But if that would have came out, that's what he was doing, that would have meant then that I would like to imagine that there were other celebrities that were tied to that as well. Everybody would have got exposed for that. Everybody got pushed out for that. Everybody would have been talked about for that. Trying to tell y'all, man, these things are wild. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't go as deep as I was going to go into this, because I was looking up some stuff. I was reading some things and I was like, yo, there's several different avenues that I could go with this. There's many different ways that I could spit with this. So I didn't go the route that I was going to go, but I'm glad that I went the route that I did, because I'm going to get off in about less than 10 minutes. But I just want to make this very clear. If we want our people to advance, let me change this up. If we want our people to advance, and if we want our people to be better, if we want our people to know better, we have to replace the images that are out there with ones that are more acceptable, ones that are more positive, and ones that can actually go ahead and make a difference to see our culture shift and have a change. Again, we can go out, we can have fun, we can do things, but it's the first thing that we want our young boys and our young girls to see are those images of us smoking weed all the time, of us always doing some ass shaking, of us doing all of this. Because, yes, it can definitely be a great time. I didn't partook. I didn't have fun. But that is not going to be the image that I want somebody to see of me. I don't want nobody taking a picture of it, because you know why? I'll tell you that I did it. You ain't got to dig up no photo on Jeff, because I tell you that I did it. So now what you going to have? We could sit down. We could talk about it all day. You know, we can talk about it all day. Jeff, have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? Nah, man. Don't you come for the weed? Oh, no, I ain't coming for the weed, brother. You funny. Again, something I can speak to. I've smoked weed before. Smoke weed now because it's legal in Illinois. Boom. There it is. So now you can't say Jeff out here doing something bad. I'm in a spot where it's legal. I'm not around here high all the time. I go out, I do my thing. Never been high at work. Got to be responsible out here. So the thing is, he said, I ain't got time for you. He said, nah, bro, let's see these pics. Bro, you ain't gonna find nothing out there. Because that is the image that I choose not to have out there being represented of myself. Oh, I thought about this long and hard, baby. I thought about this long and hard. So that's the thing. We all getting the stuff, we all do things, but we got to think twice before we start making stuff happen. We got to think twice before these moves get bigger. We got to think twice if you looking to go a certain place. Move in excellence, the excellence that you say you want to move in. Move in it. And if something does come out about you, speak to it, own it, and say, okay, I did it, whatever, and move on. Because each and every one of us has done something that we did not like. We've all done things that we have regretted in this world. And if you tell me you ain't ever done nothing that you regretted, you're lying to me. I'm just saying, we have all done something that we all regretted. So at the end of the day, hopefully, Diddy can take a look and see what was in the limelight, what was put out there, and we can hope and pray that the man will go ahead and change. Because at this point, by looking at the verdict and what was given, the man does have something on him. I would like to think he doesn't want that image on him all the time. But y'all know how it go, man. Celebrities are here today, gone tomorrow when it comes to this stuff. So that's how I go. So please, I highly encourage you, if you missed the beginning of this, go ahead and please rewatch this. Go ahead and look at the beginning of this, because y'all thought I was going to go one way. But come on, man. Life Coach Jeff is smarter than that. You know, we don't hit on certain things that cause people to sit up here and say you doing wrong, or you should have never did this. No. We look at what's given right in front of us, and we allow accountability to be taken based on the action that you chose. Who knows? Cassie might be looking at it right now saying, I made a horrible mistake. Okay. That's her choice. That was her choice at the time. She was young. That was her choice. She got to live with it. Let her live with it. Don't criticize it. She ain't the only one that's been through that. She is not the only one that's been through that. There are many more that have been through it. So we ain't got to beat her up for that. But what we can do is we could beat Diddy up because he should have not been around here abusing no woman. Now, we can't say that. We can say Diddy had no reason at the parties to go ahead and be hooking people up with that baby oil, and they woke up something bust wide open. I'm just saying, man and woman. Keyword, man. The diddler is gay. I'm just saying. If you didn't know, if you don't know, now you know. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm going to stop. I'm going to put it out there. So, all right, y'all, listen, man, I got several shout outs that I want to give out, man. Real quick. Shout out to BB Trinette, who was with us in the beginning, man, doing the good comments and everything. Shout out to my boy, Monix, Emil Washington, Keisha Cash, Robin, Yvette, D. Smith, Lamar Simmons, and also the homie Al Williams from the Alan Powell Show. Man, we're going to be on Spotlight Radio in a couple of days, man. Y'all tap in to 102.3 Rejoice FM, okay? Here in the great city of Chicago. We're going to be throwing it down. Hey, man, listen, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tapping in and listening to this conversation today, because I feel that with this making headlines, let's not use it to give our own opinion on Diddy and everything, because we got that. You know, we all saw what was going on. We all saw what was unfolding right in front of our eyes. But let's take the time to look and see what we can do to change our culture as a people. Let's take a look and see what we can do to go ahead and advance so we have better images that are out there of us that don't look like what they want us to look like. Let's strive to be better. Let's strive to do better. So, all right, y'all, it's your boy, Life Coach Jeff, coming to you live. And remember, redirect, regroup, refocus. And I love y'all so very much. And as always, peace.
Redirect your mind to the open lane. Regroup your thoughts, let go of the strain. Refocus the vision, it's all in your name. Jeff got the mic sparking up the flame. Redirect, regroup, refocus, we thrive. God in your spirit, keeping dreams alive. The vibe is deep, the truth's in the lines. It's your time, now don't let it pass by. Struggles in the rear view, we moving ahead. Wisdom and hustle ingrained in what's said. Jeff bringing light to the stories unsaid. Keep the focus straight, don't just lay in your bed. Switching the gears, shifting the tone. This ain't a journey you walk alone.